Awesome, awesome. We're going to talk a little bit about community engagement. And again, my favorite chapter verse in the Bible is John 13. It's been my theme verse. My theme chapter is John 13. That's all. Everything goes to that for me. It is a big value because I think there are so many truths in it as it relates to reaching people, helping people realize that the greatest among us is a servant. The greatest thing in the kingdom is to serve. So that's who I am. And so we did bring the Servolution books. I wrote this, probably 8 years ago, but it's amazing how much that book is still helping churches. We do a serve day every year in July. We did serve moments a lot and did a Servolution thing at Healing Place. Now we do serve days at Church of the Highlands, and now we've opened that up to churches. So last year, 353 churches did serve day on that one day. This year is July the 15th. And if you want to register for a serve day, it's a day where you just empower your whole church to go out and serve, and you create anchor events, and you empower them to do organic events. And we do all of that again in July this year. You could sign up for Serve Day 2017 at serveday.today, serveday.today. And a lot of people are serving. I think there's right about 225 churches that have already signed up to be a part of Serve Day. Here's the cool thing, is all the resources that are on the site. And then the Servolution book has about 1,000 ideas in it on how to engage or crack the code on your community. So we're going to talk a little bit about, kind of give you some hints on cracking the code. I believe they're scalable, they're transferable, and it's community code. So let me tell you a little bit kind of how this works. And so to kind of diagramming church as we see it, as it relates to, I'm a visual learner. I grew up with a stutter issue, and so I was not that good of a learner as it relates to just what you could read and those kind of things. So I became a visual learner, and so a lot of times I have to see something to understand it. And so this is Highlands in basically in a graph. This is what we do. So what we're trying to do is the ultimate goal of everything we do is obviously the Great Commission. Can I have an amen on that? That's the ultimate, that is the one thing we all have in common, is we are trying to do what? We are trying to reach people for the cause of Jesus Christ. The reason why we're here is to reach people for Jesus Christ, make an impact on our community and on our region. Because I say region because so many churches are becoming regional based on multi-sites. That could be statewide. That could be a whole area of the United States. Some people now have become national churches or global churches, which would be a Hillsong, and some are national churches where you've got locations in different cities. But at the end of the day, we're doing all these things to reach people. So that's the ultimate end of the funnel. So this is a little funnel right here. The goal is to reach them and to get them in church. We want to see people in our community come to our church. Thank God for everything. We want to reach people. We want to see people get saved. But ultimately, I want them to come to church or come to a church. May not be our church, but we want them in a church. That's the goal. So we want to get them in a church. And ultimately, that kind of happens. And I forgot to put this here. You can see why I didn't write this. Weekend services. So we're trying to do good weekend services. So can't do weekend services anymore. Bad music, just can't happen anymore. They can listen now. Back in the day, you could do bad music because nobody knew that there was good music. Now people get to hear good music, and so you have to have music. You have to have safe children's ministry. It's got to be safe now. It's got to be clean. Got to be safe. Mega safe. So there's a weekend service. Weekend services have got to last somewhere 1 hour, 105, 110, about 120. You start getting an hour and a half and beyond, and you're rolling the dice. I'm telling you right now. That's not a lot of people around the country are doing longer services than that. It's just not happening. I travel. I could stand up here and tell you 10 traits of churches that are being successful now. One of them ain't long services. That's just not happening. So we're trying to do good weekend services where there's good communication It's connecting with people. It makes sense. There's somewhat of a vibe to it, a flow to it. You can't have awkward in service anymore. Transitions are everything. We spend more time on the seconds in between than we do on the main things. So we spend a lot of times talking about that video transition. How did the music fade? Where were you on stage when that happened? What were you doing when the lights came up? Exactly. What's the first thing out of your mouth when the lights come up? You can't just spontaneously like, what's up? You can't do that every week. You gotta know what you're gonna say when the lights come up and the camera comes up. Good morning. It's great to see you today. Everybody's looking amazing. Hey, let's clap our hands for all of those that have joined us online today. Thanks so much for being a part of what God is doing. Great. Hey, let's get you just got to know what's happening. So this is weekend services. People got to feel okay. Bathrooms got to be clean. Parking lots got to be decent. Not everything's got to be perfect. We just got to do our best. If all you got is $6, then spend the best $6 you can. So it's just got to be best weekend. So we're trying to get all these people in church. Okay, weekend services are important for that. They're not going to stay if services are, it's just not, or a lot of awkward, just a lot of silence. So no one's on stage, and I feel bad. You just can't have moments like that anymore. It's just people don't like awkward. You got to kill Okay, then what you're trying to do, this is Highlands. We're trying to get them to take a next step. Okay, that's a growth track, some type of discipleship, some type of next step. Just trying to get them to take a next step. So we're talking about it every week. Hey, a connection card. We want you to fill out the connection card. Hey, today we're in step 3. We want to help you make a difference. It's today. It's right after the service. It's at 4 o'clock. It's in the theater. It's in the chapel. It's in the foyer. It's in the room next door. It's at my house. It's just we're doing something to help you. So we're constantly talking about that. So that's happening. So we're trying to do that. And then from here, we're wanting them to get in a group or on a team. This is pastoral care. They're going to help that person take a next step. They're going to sometimes identify where that person is better than we are. They're in a living room. They're going to understand, is this person, what's going on? And everybody, we broke down small groups a lot. It's not hard anymore. I don't need you to preach. I don't need you to lead worship. I don't need you to take up an offering. You don't need a creative team or mimes. None of that. You're just there to help people take a next step. Get them connected. That's all I want you to do. Cut on a DVD. Give them some Doritos. Don't let anybody hog the meeting. Keep it to a certain time. Keep the dog out the living room. Send the kids somewhere else. Just an hour of calmness where you can help people connect with God. So this is what we're trying to do. Here's our steps. Church, some connection, some place where they feel cared and loved. Here's what's happening. When people do well here, we're identifying leaders. It's like, God, that guy really lead a group. That person was really great in a group. Well, then, hey, that leader of that group is talking to that person saying, hey, you think you want to lead a group? Let's get you into small group training. So we do small group training like 10 times a year on a Sunday. We're doing after service. Today is leadership for small group training. Once you pop in there and we walk them through these things, it's not super hard. So they don't have to know everything. We're finding leaders. This is our leadership factory right in here. If you want to know where are we getting leaders from, right here. Then we're getting them into leadership where there's a little bit more training, there's a little bit more accountability. Sometimes the staff now is starting to engage with these people. This is just leadership. And once we feel like they're a leader, what are we doing? We're getting them in groups. We want them to lead a group. We want them to now be on a team, be on ushers, be on greeting, be involved with security, be a part of children, maybe help out in students, maybe be a part of some young adult expression. Maybe it's some type of music. Maybe it's some type of technology. They're all getting involved. And then I put resource, which I think is important because a lot of times you're going to identify someone who then becomes a resource to the church. Maybe it's their giving, maybe it's their wisdom, maybe it's their own leadership gift, maybe it's their connection in the community. They know everybody. Well, then sometimes that's their leadership gift. They're not going to park cars, but they're going to let you know how the community works. They know everybody. They know they're a great veterinarian, and they know everybody in town who's got a dog. Well, listen, man, you are an influencer. In our church, if you're an influencer, you can be a leader. Because that's what leadership is. It's influence. And then also, we also believe, and then we're also identifying, which is so important, those that have the gift of giving. Because that's now a leadership role. That's a connection part. That's a kingdom builder. That's a legacy person. And so often, so we have a couple pastors, they pastor these people. Just like we pastor these people, just like we pastor these people. Just like when we see that they're gifted in this area, like you would somebody that's a small group, then we're going to let them be a part of resource, a legacy team, a kingdom builder team. They're going to help us as it relates to decisions. So at Healing Place, I was the pastor of the affluent because nobody could do that. Me and Lee Domain, we pastored the affluent because I knew that we were needing resources as a church. Because the more people that come down here, the more space I need. The more campuses we've got to build. The more buildings, the more children's space, the more missions opportunities. So I'm developing these people. So I spent majority of my time as a pastor, the last 10 years of Healing Place, pastoring the affluent, spending time with them, checking on their family, lunch once a year, try to go to dinner with them once a year, access. So I had about 150 people that I pastored that I would let them know our needs, personal things. Hey, let me just tell you something right now. Hey, we got a missions trip this year to India. We're going to partner with Joyce Myers. She's putting in $35K. We're putting in $35K. I know some of you would want to know about this. So I always felt so comfortable talking about money. I would lead in with the same sentence every time. I know that many of you would want to know about this. I never approached it as if they're not going to give. I always approached it from, I know you need to know about this. Because you're that person. You're the guy that cares about it. I'm not asking them to give. I'm letting them know about a need. They need to talk to God about giving, but sometimes they don't know the need. So I spent a lot of my time telling 150 people, we're building a building. Katrina just hit. The contractors are charging us. The building that was $22 million last month, guess what? Is now $32 million. Ha 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 ha. As I vomit. So when I announced that to the church, 350 people left the church. I didn't lose one person here. They were the first ones to know. When I announced it to the church, they already knew that the building was going to be $10 million. I'd already explained it to them because I knew that half of the $10 million was coming from here. So I can't let them know in church. I had to pastor them through the $10 million. So the $10 million increase that Katrina bought our building did not kill us. We raised $9 million of it in 15 months. In addition to already the $12 million that we had raised. And half of it came from here. So this is all leadership. Because here's the deal. Ultimately, we're trying to engage our community. All of this is now going to give us more opportunity to engage the community. And we engage our community two ways, through serving and loving. Loving is just individually. I want to equip you. I want to build you. I want to bless you. That when you walk out of here, when you go to the dry cleaners and you see somebody across that counter that looks like they're having the worst day of their life, you minister to them. Individual, you love them. I'm going to help create serve opportunities for you to serve. And then hopefully you'll catch the bug and then you'll become organic in your own ideas. Because ultimately, if all this is happening, and what Obed said, now we're creating more opportunities to be engaged with our community. We have more resources. Now we can do more things. We're engaging in community through serve and love. What's that going to do? It's going to cause us to reach more people. And all these people that we reach, we're going to go back, and they're going to help us reach more people, reach our community, reach our region, so they can get in the church, be a part, get in a group, become a leader, help us be a resource, engage the community, reach more people, go back up, reach more people. Because here's the deal. I got to reach more people. At the end of the day, I'm reaching people. So that's why we've got to develop leaders. And we got to have a funnel that doesn't bottleneck. I got to get the pipeline. I got to get the flow. I got to keep volume. If I've got 100 people in my church, then I'm trying to get that volume to reach people so that they can go reach more people. And next year, we could be 145. My Lord have mercy. Could you imagine 145 people in our church? Man, that means we can do more stuff. Why? We've reached more people. And we can have some more next steps. I got more leaders for groups, blah, blah, blah. Then next year, got 188 people. My God, we're a mega church. My Lord have mercy. 24 months ago, we were running 100. Now I got 188 people. And matter of fact, out of those 88 new people, it gave me 30 more givers. And you do the math, 30 more givers, they give $25 a week. That's a whole lot more money coming into our church. That helps us do more things to reach more people. And all of a sudden last year, we had a flood in our church, had a situation at a high school. We were more visible. We reached more people. Now this year, we're at 290. And out of 290, from that 188, there's 102 more people that come to our church. There's more people in leadership. They're leading more small groups. And now we got 55 new givers. My Lord have mercy. We ought to be filthy rich as a church. Why? More resource to reach more people. Reach more people. Does that make sense? So you need to figure out, what is your pipeline? What is your pipeline? We should be able to walk up here afterwards and say, here's my pipeline. Here's my city. What was one of them? Cucamonga? Rancho Cucamonga. That's my city. That's my doggone community. That's my region. And I'm building this church. Here's my discipleship. And we're putting them in groups and teams. I'm developing leaders. So I can do more groups, build bigger teams, and get some resources. Why? Because I want to engage this community. I need a van. I need a mobile cooking unit. I need a teenage partnership with the community to help kids get off drugs. It's going to cost $45,000. I need to get that. Why? It's going to help me reach more people. And the more people I reach, the better Rancho Cuca, your mama. I'm inviting myself to preach for you. It just happened, okay? I'll let you know what weekend. I'm old. I told you I'm old. I don't care. I just come up. I just show up one Sunday and say, what are you talking about, Adam? I got this. Does that make sense? When we're done, we can talk about this for hours. Let me talk to you a little bit about building community engagement through cracking the code in your city. This is huge because you'll eventually run out of church folk that are changing churches. You got to reach new people. So I'm going to help you reach new people in your community. So there's a myth. Outreach costs money. No, it doesn't. Our first outreach cost $16. And I reached 6 people from it, from $16. You don't have to have a lot of money. So get rid of that idea. I tell people all the time, well, we just can't do big outreaches. Who said anything about a big outreach? But you can do an outreach. My city, I hear all the time, there's nobody poor in my city, nobody hurting in my city. You find, let me tell you something. They are killing themselves in broke down cutlasses and Porsches. Addiction has nothing to do with the economy. They're a broken, hurting, messed up community. Every city has got broken humanity. So my city's too hard. No, I don't believe in all that. My people won't serve. No, you've not given them an opportunity to serve. Because here's the facts. I want you to remember this. There are 10% of the people. This is the base number. This is facts. 10% of the people in your church have a missions gene. That's just base. If you have 200 people in your church right now, 10% of your church, 20 people woke up and they have thoughts about China. They're thinking about 7th and 8th graders that are being involved sexually. They're thinking about illiteracy. They're worried about families of incarcerated people. They're thinking about someone that's a widow. 20 people of your church of two. So if you have a church of 1,000, 200 people automatically have the mission gene, the outreach gene. Homeless, drug addicts, veterans, mental health. They just wake up thinking about it. Okay, so they're already there. So however many people you got in your church, do the math. They're there. Some churches have more based on who they reach. In our church in Louisiana, 30% of our people were outreach driven. A lot because I preached it and a lot because they were Catholics. And Catholics are saved through what? Through works. So we would use that to our benefit. We get them saved, we say, hey, listen. Just saying, the Lord is happy if you serve. He does love you a little more than someone that ain't serving. In Louisiana, it's 15 to 18%. In Alabama, 15 to 18%. And the reason why is because it's a generous culture. It's a culture, it's a very, philanthropy. A lot of philanthropy in Birmingham. So we've got about 15 to 18% of our people wake up in the morning and they're thinking of underage girls that are pregnant. And they're thinking of disabilities. And they wake up thinking about special needs. They're just there. So my first approach is to empower the ones that are already there. I got to connect with them. Because if you get that 10%, they are radical, my friend. They will do it without you. They're finding a way to give lunch to middle school kids, with or without you. People that have the missions gene, outreach gene, they're going to do it. I just want them to do it through the church. I want to give them the opportunity and the partnerships to do it even better. So know right now, I'm telling you, your church has 10% of these people are already thinking about, and some of them are doing it, and some of them are giving money to it, and a lot of it. Why not give it through the church and let it mingle with all of our resources? So I'm trying to help you engage. So 10% have the missions gene. First question is, are you tapping into them? They're already generous. They're kind of what I call cultural helpers. They're looking at culture and they're trying to figure out a way how to help. They see things and think it shouldn't be that way. They watch television, and when they say there was a trailer that burnt down over on 56th Street, we hear it and it doesn't trigger anything. They're thinking, I've got a coat in my closet. Sweetheart, go in your drawer right now and get those clothes. We're going down there. And we're going to go find that family because the Red Cross has about a hotel. I know the hotel because I called the Red Cross. We're going to go by their hotel room and we're going to drop off those clothes. They're already doing that. We see it on television and think, man, another trailer done burned down. It's not what they think. They think that family is in a hotel. That mama's got 3 babies up in one bed. And because her husband's working out of town. And she's lost everything. Where are they going to get a bed from? Where in the world are they going to get pots and pans? It's all been destroyed in a fire. Why? Because when they were young, their house got destroyed in a fire. Why can't that be through the house of God? So go ahead. So first idea of engaging your community is we got to figure out a way in our church to connect these people. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to let them be on your team. Is you create anchor projects. You create some days. Hey, guys, let me just tell you, in June, we're going to clean up some parks because that's going to reach some families, and that's going to empower some families that don't have good yards, and it's going to be safe for their kids. Their family's going to be happier. Their kids are going to smile. It's going to change their life. Did you see how I didn't say we're going to go clean up a park? That's dreadful. But we're going to clean up a park that's going to affect a family, that's going to help a child, that's going to make a child smile, that could restore their family. Marriages are going to be restored because we cleaned up that park. Anybody with the missions gene is like, Pastor, I've got a weed eater. They're just that way. Boom, I'm there. What time? 6 a.m. on Saturday? You got me. Do I need to bring lunch? What are we doing for that? Can we bring the people lunch? Hey, is there a neighborhood around that thing? Can we do hot dogs for the neighborhood? Can I dress up like a clown and do balloons while you do the park so we can bring the kids over? And can we do puppets? That's what they're thinking. So what are you doing? You create anchor days or day. Okay? And then so you create projects that attract them. You do small groups. So one of our small group hubs, we have hubs. One of our small group hubs is outreach. So we have 4,000 small groups. Guess how many outreach small groups? Okay, we had 4,100 small groups this last semester. You want to guess how many outreach groups we have? 420. 10%, Scott. It's about 10, 11%. It's about 11, 12%. We're outreach small groups that we're empowering them to come up with an idea that at the close of the semester, when we get to summer semester, at Serve Day, your small group's going to do a project. How do I put 24,000 people on the street July the 15th? Is because most of them come through groups. Then I create anchor projects for all the other ones that are not coming through a group. So that's how we engage the community, through small groups. One day a year, we identify leaders that can lead other ones, missions trips, reoccurring moments, talk about it from the pulpit. So all these things. So we're connecting with these people that are there. So we're trying to engage all these people. So you say, well, Dino, how do we crack that code? So the first thing, to be able to be an outreach-driven church that's going to try to embed ourselves, come up with ideas, help our people get connected, is awareness. So do you know your city's pains and problems? Do you know what they are? Do you know their aches? Do you know what's going on? So in Louisiana, we had alcohol issues. We didn't have drugs, alcohol. Illiteracy, incarceration. So we had communities where 50 to 70% of the young men were incarcerated. So that means mothers and grandmothers were raising children. That's easy to figure out. How do you be a blessing there? It's not rocket science to try to figure out how to help them. So you figure these things out. Domestic violence is huge in Louisiana. A lot of that is due to poverty. A lot of that is due to illiteracy. A lot of that is due to incarceration. Husband's at jail, now a boyfriend has moved in. That boyfriend don't care about them babies. And all of a sudden now there's no money, and there's issues, and now we're running out of food stamps, and somebody's addicted to drugs. That is the recipe for somebody call the police. That's going to happen. Now the boyfriend is now incarcerated. And this young lady, precious, valuable, cannot feed those kids. So what do you do? It's not right. Well, man, we got to provide some type of meal service for that community. And probably food stamps run out about the 20th to the 24th. Okay, last week of the month, that's when we feed people. Because that's when food stamps run out. It's just thinking. You're cracking the code in your city. So high school dropout is huge in Louisiana. And then we have shift workers. So everybody's working offshore. Everybody's working shift work. Got to figure out that kind of thing. In Alabama, we have drastic differences. We have the rich and we have the poor. And then we have middle class. The middle class are living in rural areas. Rural outreach is different than urban outreach. Got to figure that one out. So we have situations like drug abuse is worse in Alabama than in Louisiana. So we have drug abuse. We have a lot of brokenness. We have a lot of racial divides. Got a lot of rednecks. We got the coast. Then we got the country. And we got the city. And so we've got to figure all these things out. So what am I telling you that? Because you need to know the same thing about your city. To understand. Do you know what people are going through or dealing with? Kids, college campus, the poverties, the seniors, the widows, the veterans. What's happening in your zip code? So what we're doing is we're trying to be aware of it. So in a Church of the Highlands, our need is money in our community. Our community doesn't have a lot of money in Alabama. So we give a lot of money away. In Louisiana, we had a lot of governmental services, so we give a lot of manpower away. Just got to figure out which one. So awareness. Then the other thing to engage in your community is community collaboration. That's key. I think it's a key for the voice of influence so that your voice is not muted in the future. I think the days are coming that if you're not collaborating and helping the problems in your community, you will no longer have a voice in your community. We can no longer run and hide anymore from the pain and the challenges in our community. Churches that will run and hide and not be involved, I think will eventually be hated by their community. Everybody's kind of loved, churches are, let me tell you something, we're not getting a pass anymore. There's a tornado and people are dying. If you don't show up I'm telling you, the day is coming, if you do not engage with the pain and the problem of your cities, you will be disgusted by lost people. Used to be they still loved us and we were okay. We got a pass. There is no more passes being given out by lost humanity. They're angered. They're angered that the idea that there would be a shooting, there would be a racial situation, and we don't say nothing. We're not down there. We're not engaged. We're not trying to do something. Listen, man, our next thing right now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We have mobile dream centers. We have a hard location, but they're so expensive to maintain. So now instead of spending $300,000 or $400,000 on a hard dream center, we spend $80,000 on a mobile dream center. That way it's mobile, it can go different places. So we're kind of changing our model from a normal location. There are certain hubs we want to be in, where our next thing is we're getting ready to do a mobile restroom and shower. Because sometimes when there's a tragedy or a situation, people can't take a shower or they can't go to the restroom. So we're going to have a mobile restroom. And then our third thing that we're going to be doing probably in 2019 is I'm going to do a mobile laundromat. Those things are phenomenal. Because you can go into a community and a lot of homeless people can't wash their clothes. Or if you have a tragedy where the electricity is shut off, or there's been a natural gas explosion, or people are out on the streets and there's a problem, I'm telling you right now, you do a laundromat for free, oh my goodness gracious. So we're trying to figure out these things. The thing we're doing right now is a relief disaster response trailer. So we have a mobile unit now that when there's a disaster, we have a trailer that's equipped out that can pull up, and there's generators, and there's saws, and there's chainsaws, and there's hammers, and there's all this kind of stuff, a bobcat. We can get engaged immediately. We're training and we're equipping them. Why am I telling you that? Because you've got to be able to be engaged. So here's some of the ways you collaborate with your community. Meet with city leaders. When's the last time you sat down with a police officer? The police know where the problems are. They're my greatest ally to reach for the Great Commission. I talk to police every other week. Hey, man, where you responded? Where's domestic violence happening at? Where are you having to arrest people? Where are you picking up kids at? Where's the foster care's hottest spot in our city? That's where we need to be. So you're figuring these things. Police, councilmen, fire, EMS. Hey, how about this? Older pastors in your city. When was the last time you sat down with an elder pastor and say, hey, man, tell me a little bit about this city? Where these kind of things. So all those kind of things. Or you find you connect with do-gooders. Partnership, people who do gatherings in groups. And then, so I'm always trying to talk. I'm always meet with people who do a soup kitchen. I don't want to do a soup kitchen. I ain't doing a soup kitchen. I ain't doing no soup kitchen. But I want to know the people who do a soup kitchen. Okay? I'm not doing any live-in. I'm not providing housing at all. We don't do housing. But I know 20 people in our city who do housing because they know some things I don't know. So we're meeting with them. Let me tell you something. Those 10% of your people, if you ask them, hey, I need you to go find the people who support people who get evicted from their house and do temporary housing. they would kiss you on the mouth for that job. Oh, yeah, thank you, Pastor. I need you to find the 6-year-olds that when free lunch is over, how were they fed on the weekend? Go find that out for me. Son, they are like a heat-seeking missile. Just meet with everybody. Get someone else to find that all. Give you a report, and then you figure out a way along with them. What would you do? How would you make a difference? I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd collect every sock known to mankind. And I'd go down there and I'd put socks on their feet. Glory to God, we're starting a new thing this winter called Souls and Socks. You're in charge. We're going to believe God for 500 pairs of socks for those children during winter. Let's do this. And you know what we're going to do? I'm going to bump it up for you, sweetheart. You know what I'm going to do? You're going to collect all them socks. I need them on the 10th of the month. We're going to get them on the 31st because I'm going to get them monogrammed. We're going to put destiny on the toes. Come on, somebody. I'm going to put John 3:16 right there on the little ankle part, right there, and destiny. Every time they slip those socks on, John 3:16 and destiny, they're going to think about Obed. Come on, somebody. Obed loves people. Obed loves this city. Obed loves 6-year-olds in a godly way. Come on, somebody. Let me tell you something. You got people you don't know what to do with. You're not thinking the community. You ought to have a list of 300 things right now we need done. 300 things we need done. I need 300 leaders right now. So we don't get them in the church, gospel's sake. So all these different things. A few more things would be, so we talked about awareness, crack the code, community, collaboration, and then I put the word noticers. You need to empower some noticers. Noticers that bring a solution. You ever had that person at church that noticed, Pastor Lizette, is that his name, Lizette? Lizette? So, Pastor Lizette, you know, the bathrooms have been a little dirty. Thank you. I need somebody to say, you know, the bathrooms have been a little dirty, but I've got some spray and some candles. The bathrooms aren't dirty anymore. I took care of it. That's a noticer that brings a solution. I don't need a noticer. I need a noticer that has a solution. So here's what you want to do. Empower noticers with a solution that will notice the atmosphere, the environment of your city. Here's what's happening. I need you to tell me what's going on in my city. I need you to watch the paper, watch the news. So we've got some people at Highlands that we've empowered that notice pain and tears and heartache and struggling and suffering. And we've empowered them to go to a solution. You don't need me to give you permission to go across town. There's been that shooting to get engaged. We're going to train them a little bit, teach them some manners, some people skills. You're empowered now to go. Why? Because the days are coming that if we'll do that, the community will beg for us to get involved. Do you remember when Pharaoh had all those problems? Musicians couldn't do nothing. Sorcerers couldn't do nothing. Who did he call? Y'all go find Moses. I got to get these frogs out of here. I got to get this water, the blood's killing me. I got to get Moses over here. Here's what the future is going to be. Pharaoh's calling the church to help solve the problems. But if you've not been solving the problem, you ain't going to be invited to the table. I want to do some stuff that when the problem hits, hurry, get Adam over here now. He got 1,000. Last time we had a problem, just brought people. They just lined up picking up trash, painting houses, buying fans for widows, putting people in hotel rooms. My goodness gracious, that's why I need money. Because something's going to happen in my community, and I'm going to need $20,000 tomorrow. I need it tomorrow. So I need some money. So that when they call us, yes, I got that. What else? I don't need anything. We got it from here, Mayor. Got it from here. We're going to handle this problem for you. You go on to the next problem. But you're not going to have to worry about that anymore. we'll take care of that for you. But listen, the churches that are not getting in the mess, they won't be called. They just won't even be in the conversation. You want to be invited to the table. When Katrina hit, because we'd been serving and sweating and helping and being a part, when they put together the task force, we got a call that day. So we got a seat at the table. Every day we do a briefing, I need your pastor here at the table. He's sitting there listening. Oh, we got that. Okay. We'll do that. We'll take, how many people are there? 15,000 people? We'll handle that. Where am I going to get, how am I going to reach 15,000 people? Do you know how long it takes for 15,000 people to come through my doors? Forever. And you're giving me 15,000 people that in the next 2 days I get to cook for, because on my plate, I'm going to put a sticker on it. God loves you too much. Enjoy the jambalaya. Everything I do, Jesus is going with me. Everything I do, I'm going to bring you. Let me tell you, when the city is desperate, they don't mind your devotion. When they're out of money at the middle schools and they can't provide soccer and football, they don't mind if your coach says a little prayer with them when they brought $15,000 worth of equipment. They don't mind then. They like, okay, I'm going to pray with them. That's fine. Where's that check at? It's $15,000. You can baptize them and do the sign of the cross. We don't care. We are broke. When the schools run down and the teachers don't have a lounge, and you say, I'll do that, fixer upper. That's my middle name. I'll go fix that lounge. We will put macchiato bars in it, and we will paint it pink and put signs on the side. We'll go in there and redo that lounge. Them teachers will love you. So let me tell you something. You'll have access to the school because you did the lounge, and the reason why you did the lounge is because you developed leaders and you had money. Does that make sense? So here's how you get involved. You do small steps. You do low-risk opportunities with high return. First outreach we ever did in Louisiana was widows. That was easy. Second outreach was a Christmas party for single moms. Easy. Third outreach was we picked up trash for 2 years at every cancer march, rally, gathering. We were picking up trash. 2 years later, we were running the cancer relay and the march, because I got people and I got wisdom and I have those that will serve, and I had $1,000 to buy the hefty bags. That made me lead, because most people are there to give an idea, but they have nothing that they can give to the cause. Most people sitting at a table can't bring a dollar. They just loud, having solutions. They want to control the movement, but they have no money. When you sit there and say, I got the trash bags, well, we just don't have a dumpster. I'll get the dumpster. Well, who's going to drive the dumpster off? I got the dumpster. I'll do that too. Wow, could you be vice president? Can you be vice president? That's how this, so you're engaging the community to reach more people so those people can be reached and go to church. And that's all I have to say about that.